Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission for March 3rd, 2025. Right, Bill Monroe, Barry Central, Josh Johnny, Jed Worst. We'd like we have an option to add in another application today. We're here 2 Woodside Drive. I don't have the application. I mean, the 2505. Would that be acceptable to the agenda? Second. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 7 stage, right?
Yeah. And, the approval of the minutes. Did anybody see anything on the regular meeting minutes on January 6th that need to be corrected?
We'll go back and vote on the motion. Yeah. Oh, everybody said aye.
Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, I forgot to vote on the motion to add to Woodside Drive. So let's do that.
And who seconded it? Was it? Jen made it.
I seconded it and then. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, and the minutes are fine. Nothing needs to be corrected on those.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay. Public comment. Is there anybody on this? People in here. There is no old business. So, let's go to the new business. We have a jurisdictional ruling review for IWWC 25/01. JR Donald Du Bois, 134 Wheeling Road, a 25-acre timber harvest with a stream crossing as part of a USDA NRCS Equip program. USDA. That you, sir, up there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I'm Don Dubois Forestry and Land Management Professionals from Brooklyn, Connecticut. I'm here tonight representing my clients Anthony and Susan Ruggiero from 134 Wheeling Road. We have a simple jurisdictional ruling to address tonight. This is a salvage thinning that's taking place on about 25 acres. The goal here is to improve forest health. My client is a recipient of a grant from the USDA NRCS, and we're using that program to salvage dead and dying ash trees. Actually, most of them were dead already, and they've died in the last few years from the emerald ash borer. So our goal is to remove these trees in an effort to grow the better quality oak and maple and birch and hickory and sugar maple. So it's a very small operation. It's involving 15,000 board feet of saw timber and about 90 cords of firewood. We have 2 good access points onto the property. If you look at the topographical map, there's a narrow strip of land on the northeast corner of the property, and there's a gravel access road there. And then there's another gravel access road situated just to the north of Ruggiero Homestead. The green lines that you see on the topographical map are proposed and existing skid trails. The wetlands map that the Capital Region Council of Governments has is actually pretty accurate. It shows, you can see the wetlands in the blue line brook. And we're looking to place a temporary stream crossing over that brook to span the channel to prevent any sediment or erosion into the stream channel into the adjacent wetlands. I was out there last week with Joe. It was frozen solid and cold, but we did go out there and we were able to take a look at the stream channel itself. And I think Joe got some good pictures of it. This operation will probably get started sometime in mid to late August. We're hoping for dry ground conditions when the water tables are at the lowest. This is a one-phased operation. The person's doing the work is going to come in. He's going to take out the dead trees and do the firewood cleanup. And so it's one operation, one contract. Then he'll be done. He'll put the bridges in place before he starts, of course, and then he'll remove the bridges at the completion of the operation. The NRCS is also cost sharing trail stabilization. So when we're done, all the woods roads and skid trails will be seeded with a shade tolerant conservation grass seed mix and raked to assist in germination. So we should be shutting down the roads in pretty good order. At this point in time, we're just looking for a permitted use as of right activity under Connecticut state statute. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
I have one question, just right off the get-go, your designation USDA/NRCS equip, what exactly is that?
Okay, the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, has a program. The acronym is EQIP. That stands for Environmental Quality Incentives Program, and it's a cost share program that gives money to private forest landowners to help them take better care of their land. That program is administered by the Natural Resource Conservation Service, which is the NRCS. It's a pretty big federal program, and we use the program quite extensively throughout Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts to help landowners, particularly in situations like this where their woods are in such poor form that you cannot do anything here commercially. The only way we can help this landowner is by using this program. Without it, we couldn't do any of this. So it's a pretty good program.
So I saw in the photos that it was a fairly small stream. Were there any wetlands on the sides of that we had to worry about the size of the temporary bridge?
Yeah, the stream channel itself is pretty well defined as the photos show. But there are, and like I said, the Capital Region Council of Government maps, pretty accurate. We're going to be crossing at the most narrow location, but the bridges will be put in place to span the channel itself. And then probably on either side, if it's soft, we're going to have to lay additional mats in there. But the main stream channel will be spanned, with these mats. I'm sure you've all seen them. We call them wooden bridges, but they're big wooden mats, and the machine puts them in place. And it allows the machine, the wooden equipment to drive over that without, dragging sediment into the stream channel. And like I said, once the job is done, then the bridges are removed.
So are the mats in the wetlands or are they outside of the wetlands?
I didn't, the wetlands aren't delineated, but and the ground was frozen when we were there. But we're choosing the most narrow location, and the bridges are 12 to 14 feet long. So where they land on each side of the stream, that's a wetland soil. So if the stream channel is, say, 2 or 3 feet wide, and the bridges span that channel, then on either side, those bridges are, probably resting on some wetland soil before it becomes upland. So there might be some there. Do you have the CR cog maps in front of you? Do you have those?
No, you can share it maybe, but,
Okay, I think I included it in my application. Maybe I didn't.
yeah, we do have them.
Oh, good.
We'd have to share the screen or.
Is it on the website as well?
Yeah.
The whole thing rests on whether or not, if the bridge spans from not wetlands to not wetlands, I think that's not under our jurisdiction. If you put these maps down in the end of the temporary bridges and wetlands, then it
Go to,
could be, it
yeah,
would
go
be considered our
building land
jurisdiction.
use
And that's, okay.
under.
And I made the assumption it was not gonna be plopped down in wetlands. I don't. It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
The applications, oh no, that's not the, you gotta go down to jurisdictional.
Map.
Not the
This
wetlands,
would be,
then you can't
Yeah.
go some areas, but you can't tell there.
soil map, maybe? This might be. No, it's not that one. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. In the
maybe
file
there, no
that
photo.
showed where the wetlands were.
Yeah, it shows the, shows the crossing. Which one did you wanna look at?
Well,
Sorry?
that's what I was looking for, you know. I was expecting the answer to be, there were no wetlands on either side of the stream, and we're putting it down on good soil, the temporary bridge. If there are wetlands on the side of the stream, then that's what would, cause us to have jurisdiction over it.
This is called the, yeah, stand two is where you don't have the forest type map there, but it's called technically it's called a riparian woodland. So the stream channel is very defined. I think the photos show it. The area on either side, the photos aren't very clear 'cause we were there when there was 8 inches of ice. Although the stream channel was flowing, it was easily discernible, but kind of hard to see what was under the ice. But best management practices in Connecticut, as you know, require that you span the stream channel, and that BMPs would allow you to put in a corduroy on the approach if it's sound, but I prefer not to use corduroy. We're going to have plenty of mats, and I would let the mats do the work and carry the weight of everything. Far less impact in a riparian woodland.
I mean, do we have anything that tells us if there's any? I think all the green are water courses. your streams going through there?
There, no, those are the skid trails.
Those are skid trails, okay, so, I know there's a lot of wetlands around here, that's why I asked the question.
Yeah, well, there's definitely wetlands up there's, and
Okay,
it's, like maybe this area here, it's kind of, and then it channelizes a little bit over where the crossing is, and then kind of
Okay.
spreads out and ends up flowing over this,
Yeah.
over this way too.
Yeah, I guess your question is, is the span gonna be going over the stream or laying on a wetland? Or the maps, are they gonna be laying on wetlands? If they are, then we need to take jurisdiction over that.
Would you? Well, because there is,
Would,
it is as of right use, the the agriculture, which includes forestry. So,
Yeah, and this is also consistent with BMPs in Connecticut. This is, pretty standard procedure. As long, I think the statute says, as long as you're not blocking the stream flow or impeding the stream channel in any way, the purposes of the bridge are to span the stream channel. And if the approaches on either side need hardening, it's typically done with corduroy, and that's BMP's acceptable practice in Connecticut. But the best thing to do is don't put the corduroy in and add additional bridges if need be. I wish the photos were clearer, you could see it, but unfortunately, like I said, when we did a site walk, the ground was hard, frozen. In any event, we certainly don't want to do this operation in the spring. Our projection is to start by mid to late August when the ground's well drained, ideally. Of course, this winter would have been ideal to be in there. It would have been perfect, but we don't usually see winters like this anymore.
I think, our precedent and direction from our land use attorney has always been that corduroy or mats into the wetlands is considered filling wetland, and we need to take jurisdiction. It doesn't mean that it's a bad practice. It doesn't mean that it, can't be handled in a timely manner between, he's trying to get the logging done in August. There's a lot of time between now and August to do that, but that's been pretty much what we've chosen to do for when we would take jurisdiction. If a temporary bridge were to go outside the wetlands on both sides, then it's not a jurisdictional issue. But if we're putting anything into the wetlands, and again, it's not a hard thing, but that's what our land use attorneys told us to do.
Yeah. All right, it's just, I haven't seen this before. I've been doing this, I've done hundreds of these, just never seen this come up as a point. If that's the point that you're making, that the bridges are gonna span from upland to upland, then I don't know if that could be done there. So why don't we just do this? Why don't we keep the application in as it is and remove the request for a temporary stream crossing altogether, which is okay because we have two log loading areas, one's to the north and one's to the south, and we can divide the property and not get anywhere near the wetlands. I wanted to provide a temporary stream crossing to make it convenient for the operator, but if it's going to be an issue with the town, then we will retract the request for a temporary stream crossing altogether. Then there's no interference with the stream crossing whatsoever.
So I need help understanding what that was all about.
Well, we're going to remove the request for a temporary stream crossing. That's all I'm saying.
Is he saying we're just gonna, drive the equipment
No,
through the stream?
see, if there's two,
they have to.
Two other paths, okay.
yeah, so you can access, see how that top one goes around, and then the other one goes So basically it covered both of them.
Okay, so that, that would be, acceptable, or, what we've done in the past is we've, accepted all the information that he's provided as the application, and we just act on it at the next meeting. guess
I
the
think-
only-
Yeah, I think, the reason we have two access roads was, if possible, we should try to avoid this wetlands altogether, because that is, the best approach is to find an alternative to crossing it. We can do this tree removal operation without that crossing, is what I'm saying. And that'll be a prerequisite.
We should vote as to whether or not we've got jurisdiction, but I think, what we know. It would be, I think that it's the case that we do. And if we can do it without going through the wetlands, so much better.
Agreed. You don't have to go that way, just don't do it.
That's fine.
Anything else? So, yeah, draft motion, proposes a timber harvest is as of right use. Wetlands Commission agrees with his conclusion that the proposed timber harvest is an as of right use according to section 4.1 of Andover's wetlands regulations. I, Bill Monroe, move to, propose a timber harvest on the property of 134 Wheeling Road is permitted as right pursuant to section 4.1 of the Andover Inland Wetlands and Water Courses regulations. Do I get a second?
You should add that the stream crossing would be kind of language.
And, okay, with the stream crossing being removed, that is. So, any second?
I'll second that.
Show of hands.
Aye.
Aye.
You submit the application.
No, I won't need it, because it's an as of right, so no application.
So,
Okay.
you're all set.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, bring this to permit application IWWC 25/02, Joshua. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
I didn't want to mess that up. 296 Lake Road, installation of a 4-foot by 16-foot prefabricated aluminum wood dock and a 6-foot by 8-foot boat bed within Andover Lake. Okay. I did see some pictures on that.
Is this new or you replaced it?
The dock is new, it's in a box. The boat lift is not new, it's used, and it's aluminum, with some steel cable, and it's clean. And it's, can just be moved alongside the dock. The application says it has, 4x4-inch aluminum feet that sit on the bottom. And, yeah, and it's sort of a scissor lift that the boat sits on the skids like it would on a boat trailer, and you turn a crank and the steel cable slip the boat out of the water just to keep the hull from being fouled.
It might be the first and only.
Pretty
Yeah, it sounds nice.
Have any problems with, people putting them docks on the, lake. You obviously need an access to the lake. So it's almost like foregone conclusion that you're gonna get, the whole thing with the, definitely caught my attention,
The lift.
the,
Pretty nifty, but you know how boats can get really, they can kind of get stained and, get algae growth from bottom stuff, if you look it out, but it's pristine.
it's got like a, is it like?
Yeah.
Like this?
High mechanical advantage with, you know, you turn the thing a lot and the boat barely moves, you know,
Oh,
just
okay.
little by little and just lifts it. And, you know, they make them for huge boats. But this is, you imagine the size of a jet ski, which obviously we're not using jet skis in Lake, but about that size is made for a boat that's very small. It's not just sailboat size. Boat. Very light duty. So,
This application? Motion to
receive it.
receive the application, receive the application, installation of a 4 foot by 16 foot prefab loom wood dock and a 6 foot by 8 foot boat lift within.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Oh, yeah, vote to accept it.
To receive.
Can't
Can't do that
approve it
myself.
yet.
Can't approve it yet.
That's next month.
Okay, okay,
okay, thank you very much for your time.
accept. Thank you. Take care, enjoy your house. Okay. So, permit application IWW 25/05. That would be you, sir.
That would be me, okay.
And, that's 2 Brookside Drive.
Lane is,
Lane, okay. And, I guess, what do you have to say about that particular application?
well, I have some full drawings here, I guess you got the drawings in, you can regroup. So we've been here, my wife and I moved here to Eden Street. We were 21 years old. I'm 7. And, we love it, we don't want to, and we want to age in place, and we decided to just stay here. And about 5-6 years ago, we purchased a lot on West Street, as you're going up West Street, that lot on the left that's cleared with a driveway.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had that since just prior and during COVID, that whole process took forever because of COVID. So we were going to build there, and then because of COVID, after we got it approved, cleared, put the driveway in, well, then we couldn't find a builder, we couldn't find any materials, and we couldn't do anything. So we've just been sitting around. And during that time, we both have decided together that we just love where we've been for 40 years. Can we just do something here and stay here and we'll sell that property? So that started all this, and so that's where we're at now. And so what we've come up with is a way to so the house now, the way it stands, it's a 2-bedroom ranch, and you come in the driveway and you go in a wraparound basement door, and then you go up the narrow stairs. So that's one of the issues. The other is the basement is also with a washer and dryer, so it's up and down now, the stairs there. So right now, that's not a problem, but it may become a problem, and we don't want to. So this permit is to be able to add on, the kitchen is also really small now, that both of our parents are gone. So we're getting nieces and nephews and people over. The last holiday, there were some people in the kitchen, some people in the living room, some people down in the rec room. So we're trying to make a little bit bigger dining room, get the washer and dryer upstairs, get a 2-car garage on the same floor so we come in. We have a small place in Vermont, northern Vermont, and we have that situation there. So we come in, it's raining, it's whatever, and pop the trunk, take your groceries, 2 steps and you're in the house, and that's really what we've been thinking. is what we wanna do, so that's the idea of why we're trying to put forward to this.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan. Well, there's, yeah, that's my fault. I know, I was reading, what you have. No, I did mention the wetlands, it's not like they're on, I,
Something else, John?
I don't know if you want, this is
I looked at
a little summary from the soil scientist and everything that printed one copy, I can make extras if needed.
I don't think it's bad though. The house. Yep. This here. Yep. And this is what you want. Yeah. Yep. Very ways.
Well, it's really, it dries up summer, but it's right here in front, but if you're coming up Woodside, you know Woodside's dead end road, but you're coming around the corner.
Yeah.
There's a weapons area here.
So where these arrows?
Yes, yes, that's-
Triangles are, that's what the weapon is.
Yeah, so I hired a weapons engineer to come in, so he flagged all of that, and he worked with other engineers that did this, so that's all been flagged by him. And he's got a report that I probably couldn't tell you, but you know.
And this is the proposed drive.
Yeah,
And this is, where's the old drive? Right here. Oh, the old drive is right over here.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, the bedroom, I have a drawing of the house if you want to see it as it exists, but one thing that was suggested, why don't you do the addition here? Well, the bedrooms are here, the kitchen is here, so then you're switching the whole house around and make it. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that, it's like a intermittent wetland, is that what you're saying?
and there's already an existing culvert here, and there's one here. So you just look at it, put a little bit narrow as a point.
Yeah.
Right there.
What's the distance from here to the boundary?
Oh, well, that's another interesting thing, so when we started this whole project, decided to stay here, I called the engineer that, so Ed Pelletier is the engineer, he's the one that engineered the lot. On West Coast, that's how I got it, okay, and, so he came out, we talked about this, he said he had his weapons guy flag this, which they did, and then we dropped this in on his, CAD machine here. He called me on the phone and said, you can't do this because of the setback.
Yeah.
This whole lot right here was not mine 4 months ago. That is a 200 by 50 foot lot that you can't do anything with, wetlands, and it's useless. And it took me 3 months to find the person that owned it, because she left in the 60s.
Oh,
It was in her mother's name, and you guys don't tax her because the land isn't worth anything, they send a tax bill out, so nobody knew where she was. So that took, about 3 months to find her, she's in Big Water, Utah. And then I had to try and find a way to get a hold of her, you would think with the internet, right, that you could just find a way and call her, well, you can't. And, so that took another 3 or 4 weeks to try and figure out how to get in touch with her.
was she surprised?
He was really surprised because she left here in the 60s. She grew up in that lot next to her that, there's a house, a log cabin, and that's where she grew up, and then she left in the 60s. So her mom passed away, she's out there, we started talking, and then she was interested in selling it right away, and she thought it was worth something because it's a lake lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so that took a few more months to realize it's really not worth anything, you can't do anything with it, and long story short, we agreed if I paid for all the expenses of opening probate, lawyer, closing, and everything, she'd sell it to me for $1.
Oh,
So that made it, I wasn't gonna spend $50,000.
so,
That wasn't mine,
that
until
was
about November.
Oh,
So now it is, and there's,
So now it is,
there's no boundary issue.
and there's no boundary issue, so we closed on that in the, about 3 months ago, and then I went back to work with Ed, and we got this.
Yeah, so you,
This is a lot of project.
you merged the lots, you talked to the zoning guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're probably getting a little bit of an extra tax bill, though, I bet.
Well, at some point, because if you open it. Over time, we also bought this during the tax time about 15, 20 years ago, that was one lot, and then we added these 2 lots, so right now, yeah, if this all goes through, we'll put it all into one lot. It isn't now, this one is separate. These
And how many acres will it be at the end?
No, that's there somewhere, it's over.
So you bought the little lot on the border of Woodland and Lakeside Drive,
Yeah, that was $4,000. They called me about 20 years ago, I got something in the mail that said, hey, this is a tax sale here, and I wasn't interested in it, what was I gonna do with that strip? And Jay was still here at the time, and he said, well, you should just come in and look at it, because I said, well, how much are we gonna have to pay for it? He said, well, taxes are $4,000. Bought for $4,000, nobody else is doing this, so that's what we did, so,
Yeah.
so we got that, which was good, because that's where you have to have a secondary septic system.
Oh,
So we've already got that approved, and that's where we go, because everything here is ledge.
Oh.
So we're gonna be able to do it there, so it's a good thing I bought. Good.
with this property.
All right, 40 years. And it is, you know, since then, we kind of cleared this area out. Got the other brush down, and kind of made it like, almost a little like park and things, so that's another reason it's in there, it's like, do we really want to move and go up? The West Street, we really love it here, so.
Piece of property.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we got that one little weapon right there.
so I think I picked up you saying that there was no way to make the house bigger with the garage and the driveway in the spot that it exists
No,
today.
not really,
Not feasible.
yeah. Actually, the garage, existing, the driveway comes in the garage, it's under the house. So you'd have to, I don't know, bring in a bunch of fill, I don't know really what you'd have to do there, but.
Make it
on the
a-
wrong side of the house as well. Uh-huh,
Make it a basement.
yeah.
And it would be kind of overwhelming to try and think of going off a lakeside, that would be.
We look at that, this is, it's all ledge, this is really, if you drive by it, this is really steep. And then when you come down to here, you have a line that's right on the corner. As if you come to the side, so you wouldn't, as you came out of the driveway, you wouldn't be able to see the oncoming traffic.
Oh.
Yeah, stone wall that you have there, is that coming out of there where you're putting the proposed drive?
The stone wall in front of the house here,
Yeah.
is that coming, oh, that would come out where the driveway is.
Where the driveway is.
Yeah. It's not much of a stone wall,
No.
no, it must have been at some.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah, it seems like as far as feasible and, you know, I don't see anything feasible. The only other thing I can think of is like, is there any way you could just garage, go, that would be, that's your front yard.
Yeah, I mean, you're really close to the house, because this drops off pretty steep down right here.
Okay.
So you, if you did that, you have to bring a lot of fill in, because the stone wall, right after that stone wall.
Drops, you
Drops,
see
yeah.
the lines, yeah.
And,
Okay.
you want me to, this is a full set of prints with anybody, or I just brought them, they're signed with the. I mean, you got these,
Yeah, if you have the extra,
yeah, this is,
I'll take them, I'll put them in the file.
Joe would want that.
yeah, okay.
Make a motion that we accept the application.
Second one. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll vote on it next month.
Okay, great, thank you very much for slipping me in here, I know. You're sitting here,
It
but
looks like you've done your homework.
Yeah, I know, I was gonna say, you're very prepared.
Yeah.
like, I met with the engineer to fill out these forms yesterday afternoon, and then we looked at the thing, so when is the meeting? I said, "Wow." Well, let's give it a shot, and Joe was nice enough to help me out here. And, you know, so, well, thank you. Yeah, okay. Yes, good night, Jim.
See you walking around.
Yes, I'll be waving.
Ready to go.
We got the, was it 24-13, the pickleball courts, they submitted an updated site plan, lighting plan, I'm sure Jed probably knows more about that than I do.
I think, we're making good progress, I get ready to go on that, we'll, hopefully, finish up the public hearing aspects on that, our meeting later this month and take action on that then.
Yeah, most of it was stuff that I remember Eric talked about on our meeting, I think like shortening that. Drain line so that it drains into the wetland, remember you brought that up, and then. What else they did, took the gravel parking lot out,
Yeah.
No, they did,
or they made it gravel.
Made it gravel.
right,
Yeah,
they went to
and
crack
they
the gravel.
eliminated the, like a level spreader runoff. So, that was also.
And we incorporated all Dave's comments on, protecting the critters, get the right flavor of light bulb and, it'll be turned off at the right times and all this stuff, so.
Oh, well. I like the sidewalks in this thing.
That was still there, yeah.
Yeah, so we had that, had the Andover Lake notification of, the DEP herbicide permit application, which basically, I talked to them there, it's like a renewal every 3 years. So it's almost identical to the one that they submitted, I forwarded it to the commission, and so DEP regulates that, so they just have to notify us. And I asked for that was the draft form, so I asked for the actual one when we get it. And then 746 East Street, I know I emailed it to you guys in probably in January, the cell phone tower construction, which was through. I don't think of what that was, it was just in the upland review area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
I don't think it was,
I think the road was the,
oh, the road.
yeah, like the gravel road that they had to construct to go into the area was in the upland review area.
Right.
But that's all regulated by the, Connecticut Siting Commission, so it's again, they're required to notify us and we can comment, but for that type of utility, we can't, really. You can just offer.
Are they started yet?
No, they just, they finished the public hearing probably within the last month. And I knew there were a couple of people, I didn't attend it because like Joe said, there's nothing we could do about it. I was a little annoyed, I hadn't been able to track down, there was the article in the River East that said, all these people from Andover got this thing back in July and had 45 days to comment. And we didn't hear from any of them. And I don't know about you, Bill, but I certainly didn't get anything back in July when they.
I was gonna say, I don't remember.
I
I got
talked to,
something, but it wasn't.
it was in December, we got that thick book,
Yeah.
but our comment period was closed back in July, so. But I was never able to track down what happened, why we didn't get those. Talked to a friend of mine who's the chair of the Wetlands Commission over in, Hebron. He said, we didn't get anything back July, so, I don't know what the story is. The lawyer for the company said, I wrote him and said, never got it. He's got a form signed by the post office that he delivered it there, but there was no, no tracking of the delivery along the way, it was just sent out in regular mail. So, don't know, but it wasn't like we could do anything about the house, so I said, okay, I needed more sleep over this one.
But it's like, I mean, in the next couple of months, is that when it's supposed to start?
Yeah, I think it'll be, sometime this year, they're gonna wanna go on it.
Did any of the neighbors?
I didn't hear anything about it, negative, one way or the other, so, it's kinda out in the middle of nowhere, and, I don't think it's gonna be a big eyesore, not like the one across the street here that you see above the treetops all the time, but, whatever.
No, Brad was talking about maybe attending. I'm not sure if he did or not. That's what I was talking to him about. 'Cause I guess he lives right in that area somewhere, so.
Yeah.
Be interesting to know if he did.
Yeah, there was a couple of people on the conservation commission that wanted to attend, and I sent them the updated schedule stuff that I got, and they tried to get in and were not successful at getting in anyhow, so. As far as I know, nobody ran over the public hearing.
Oh.
Alright, yeah, so next thing was, 2503 is the agent approval of 72 Pine Ridge Drive, that was, he had originally planned to put the house further up the hill, outside of the upland review area. And it's actually still outside, but they had to clear and grade slightly in the upland review area, but they basically moved the house down the hill, because there was like a hillside and then it's flat. So it eliminates a lot of tree clearing and a lot of cutting. So that's what that was all about. He had talked about it, last summer, and finally got it planned. So. What that was about.
And I would, keep your eye on that one, because there was a bunch of us out there today, still trying to, work on, his brother-in-law George's house, where they filled in, a bunch of, dirt on the neighbor's property in the wetland review area. And, neighbor's gonna make them take the dirt out. And so you should expect to see a wetlands permit come with that, because they're gonna go in the upland review area to remove all the dirt that they put in there and properly grade it off.
All I know is I
This
don't
is
understand,
actually-
I don't know what's going on.
Is it?
That's been on right up there now?
All I see is trucks going up and down, but I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you definitely wanna keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
They shouldn't need a permit though, because technically it's rectifying violation. So it should be just,
but you have to, I think, because, well, we were, talking about, there's gotta be some silt fencing in that, because you're gonna have to do this. And then proper seeding of all the restoration, all that,
Hmm.
but anyhow,
yeah,
I think we're not done with that one yet.
And he's probably gonna have the same guy to do this.
no, they're different people. 'Cause
Yeah,
George was doing,
Well, that's his friend, or so.
yeah, no, it was already clear about different, they're like, I don't think they're that close.
He's a. Yeah,
But, yeah, he's already, he has some, like a pile of stumps in the upland area that I gotta get him to move. Working on that, and there's no, I told him no stockpiling in the upland review area.
Now, so just trying to, I remember when we discussed the wetlands application for that particular property. And we were focused in on the driveway coming across the wetlands there.
Mhm.
I didn't see where any of the wetlands were flagged out as you get away from the driveway area around there. Where the second house is being built. So, they might be, I just
Yeah, I think,
didn't see them today, and, course, it was starting to get dark out, so I didn't look that hard for it, but when we got down by the driveway across the wetlands, you know, they were all flagged nicely, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his, yeah, it's for it, I'll go and take a look at it.
But I guess the, you know, point of the discussion for us as a commission, you know, that would, when we talked about the 12 Webster Lane subdivision as well, you know, there was an area of wetland, driveway was going back and all that stuff. Then there was a bunch of other wetlands where he's gonna build the hose. And, you know, we didn't talk about that at all. That was just kind of an afterthought for the folks on that. So we need to make sure that they're flagging all the wetlands.
Right.
Because they'll come into play later on. It certainly seems a lot of flags on the drawing.
Yeah.
For the wetland delineation line. I don't know if those were all flags or not, but,
I think there was a few, I'll have to look through my pictures, because I haven't been on site since all the snow's on the ground.
Yeah, question. Pool. Well, maybe nobody knows what in this town. Procedure is for emptying. For what? Emptying. If there is a procedure in Andover where you have to pump it out, or you just open up the drain and just let it go, or. Because, you know, he's got an in-ground pool that was pretty huge, from what I can tell by looking at the photo. And I just wonder if that's something that. How it worked. I don't even know, I've never owned a pool, and a pool, but never actually owned. How do you clean it?
don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's like,
We use filter, and then you treat it with something.
Right, I was gonna say, you put a lot of chlorine in.
but don't you eventually have to drain?
We had an above ground pool, we only drained it once when, you know, leaked. But never on
Drain
purpose,
itself.
yeah, never on purpose. It's like you're saying, there's a filter and cartridge and just.
Yeah, you can clean the filter every once in a while.
Although I'm going to a therapy pool in New Britain and they just emptied it and I don't know where, I mean, it's a huge pool. And I thought, how does this work?
Where's the water?
I have no idea. I don't know the answer to that.
It's a little curious, because well.
The other mystery question that I'm wrestling with, and maybe Joe's got some hints there, is I found this regulation in our zoning regs. It says if you put more than 2,000 square feet of impervious material, whether roof, driveway, pool, you name it, on a lot, you have to mitigate the extra runoff that it's not being absorbed into the ground. And of course, when I brought that up on the pickleball court, oh, we're just gonna run it into wetlands. And that doesn't seem to be meeting the intent of what we're trying to do to maintain the water table and the groundwater supply, so.
Aren't you not supposed to direct water directly into wetlands anyway? You
Say
direct it toward the wetlands, but not actually into the wetlands. Like, I don't think you can like take drainage from your yard, pipe it right into the wetlands, right?
No, I mean, it's not a good practice, no.
Well, that's where it all ends up. If you look at, you know, George's house that he built over here, he took all his gutters and he, you know, put them into a common drain that runs down into the wetland area. And if I was smarter on that requirement when we were doing this thing, I'd, you know, ask, isn't there a better way, you know, to do that? We're doing that with the pickleball court. And I see we're running some drains here that look like, they're gonna end up going down into, the wetlands. So I know that's, and maybe that's just, we're lucky that we got a lot of wetlands in Hanover, I don't know, but something about what's the best way to handle that situation to mitigate that runoff that our zoning regs require anyhow, which you would think would be a wetlands concern.
I think the way that site slopes too, though, it's like even though they're in. See, they go here, but the way the contour lines flow,
Yeah.
like the water flow will be that way,
Yeah.
so it'll be away, actually away from.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
like in the area, but it's
Yeah.
all in the opposite direction,
Okay.
that's the thing I was thinking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Maybe.
same permitting as is, like closer up here, but everything's falling down, right?
Okay, let's get, thanks.
Probably dirt is even a real. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I think with that one, they'll end up. Probably with, cause it's, well, the way they moved it, it was in, now it's in like a flat site, it's actually the old, like back when that. Lot was first gonna get developed, that was the site where they were gonna put the house, and it's nice. Pretty level. It's not like George's where he was sticking it on the side of the hill,
Well, it looks like George has got a bunch of material he's gonna be trying to get rid of, so
yeah.
I think he'll help out.
Yeah, I was hoping, because it's fine and stable, so.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish they could have worked something out, some planting or something like that, but. And you can't build someone else's property either, so.
Sometimes when you build like what it sounds like he's doing, he's gonna have the slope behind his house. That's not always a great thing.
Hmm.
Cause then that water is gonna run down that slope and it's gonna come right into your basement,
Yeah,
possibly, if it's not built, if it's not. You don't have like some kind of a curtain right or something there. It's gonna have the water problems. But digging into a hill like that, could also, you could also hit a spring. Especially in that area,
yeah, I
that's.
figure if you can avoid, I mean, you can shift it a little bit, and you can avoid all that cut out the hillside like that.
That's a wet, that's a,
It's a-
the Hot River watershed right there. I don't think there's a good way you could actually build a house in there. Not a good way. Something's gonna have to give.
Then I had one that came in that. Haven't finished yet, there was a shed, 116 wheeling, guys putting a shed on it. Cleared backyard that's within the upland review area. So he submitted a permit for it. So pretty simple, pretty bad, Floater Farms one.
So we made out an application for a permit.
Yeah, 'cause it was close enough, and he had alternatives, but it was like the way that, his wife wanted it there. Yeah,
Alright. No other business. Next regular meeting is Monday, April 7th. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Favor?
Aye. That went a lot quicker than I thought it would. I thought we were here at 10 o'clock tonight. I was thinking of that, when we were doing that.